Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Shelf Comics. I'm Tommy, joined by Murphy.
Hello.
We're back with the top 5 comics for the week of December 13th, 2023. They were last week's comics, but now it's this week. So it's this week's comics, and we're here to talk about them. So we pulled 5 of them, starting with our number
Did
5.
almost new year. Almost the new year.
It's that awkward time where there's like one or two really cool books, and then struggle season. So
Even Image didn't have a number one this
there
week.
was no. I didn't see that. That's true.
Everyone's like, it's Christmas time.
That's true. That's true. Number 5, Daredevil Gang War, number 1.
So this one reads: The heat is on in Hell's Kitchen. Electra Nachos, former assassin turned Daredevil, has been recruited by the Amazing Spider-Man to stop New York City from tearing itself apart as every mobster and supervillain in town go to war. And Electra is the only thing standing in the way of Hell's Kitchen annihilation at the hands of a dangerous new gang, the Heat, whose violent schemes from the pages of Daredevil unfold. So this one, I said last week, I'm super pumped about this event. Just kind of back down to earth. As much as I think Amazing Spider-Man needed to get back down to earth, I think Daredevil also kind of needed to get back down to earth.
Yeah.
I got pretty crazy. But I was listening to the writer Erica Schultz. She talked at Comic-Con about this, and it seems like a pretty fun story. It's kind of assassin versus assassin, with Elektra going against this new gang, and they have their own kind of Elektra type character. So I'm super pumped about this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is interesting. Cool. Well, Image didn't have a new number 1, but Boom did.
Nope.
In Underheist, number 1. After his gambling addiction brings David to the lowest point in his life and decimates his personal life, he'd do anything for one last chance at setting things right, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. He may just be in luck, if he can call it that. The grapevine yields illicit fruit as he learns of a heist, one involving a tunnel system that no one knows better than former NYC subway veteran David. In his brand new hard-boiled heist series with a supernatural horror twist, perfect for fans of Phantom Road and Newburn, the hit Stray Bullets creative team of David and Mara Lamp explore how seeking atonement can lead people to do desperate and dangerous things.
Dude, I feel like it never goes right when you try to escape through the subway systems.
No.
Especially
in New York. Yeah.
It's always going to turn into a horror story of some sort.
Yeah.
But this one, I like Phantom Road a lot. So I've never read Newburn, but if they're saying it's kind of like
the Zdarsky book,
Phantom Road, yeah, then I'm definitely in on it. It's interesting. Maria Lapham and David Lapham. So I'm assuming husband and wife, creative duo. David Lapham is both writer and artist too, which we're all about that here.
Yeah,
in this resurgence. But also, I just always love a good heist.
Yeah. It's been a while since there's been a big comic heist book that I can think of.
Right? Yeah. Other than we had, I'm blanking on the name. Never mind. Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
But moving on to our number 3 this week, we have Masterpiece, number 1.
Another seemingly heist story. Emma, aka Masterpiece, is a brilliant and driven 16-year-old. She is paid for school with her next level inventions and is well known for her funny and honest webcomics. Then one day, Zero Preston, one of the most famous billionaires on the planet, confronts her with the truth about her world. Emma discovers she is the daughter of two of the greatest, most charismatic master criminals of all time, and her parents were the authors of the greatest casino robbery of all time, the greatest museum heist of all time, and they took Preston for a cool billion before they disappeared, never to be seen or heard from again. Zero Preston has been looking for payback for years since then, and now he finds Emma, who clearly does not have his money. Instead, Zero threatens Masterpiece into pulling a grand, impossible job against his corporate enemy, and in order to pull off one of the greatest heists of all time, Masterpiece fashions a crew of her peers and her parents' old associates.
Not enough heist books coming out.
Brian Michael Bendis.
It is Brian Michael Bendis.
I feel like I've had a little bit of a break from Brian Michael Bendis, and I'm pretty down for another story. Like like a non DC
Marvel.
He moved from Marvel to DC, and then people kind of soured on him a little bit. Like his stories get a little long-winded at times.
They can.
But so this is, it's going to be a little short series probably, and it sounds fun. Another heist story. Mm-hmm. Kind of sounds like that'd be Ocean's 12.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
they robbed the wrong people.
Right.
Now, now they got to rob someone else for it.
Right.
So that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Bendis is just good with characters too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be character driven. Obviously, I feel like he's really going to get Masterpiece, Emma, really fleshed out. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, moving on to our number 2 this week. We got DC's Twas the Mite Before Christmas. 8 fifth-dimensional folk tales of holly jolly fun. Holly jolly fun. 'Twas the night. Holly jolly. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a bat mite. Join all your DC favorites as they take on 8 classic holiday stories, from Constantine and Lex Luthor's Dickinson tale, to Batwoman's puzzling Hanukkah hijinks, to your classic cocoa-swilling Christmas romance switch with Harley and Amethyst. This book is a perfect companion for cookies by the fire and extra sour cream on your latkes. So pull up a sled and get ready for plenty of ho-ho holiday hope to get you in the spirit of the season. It's Batmite. Anything Batmite. Anything Batmite makes me happy.
I feel like DC is getting good at these.
Yeah.
Types of, these types of specials.
Yeah, they are.
Like Marvel does a lot of stuff. Marvel, I feel like, doesn't try a lot like this. They'll do one-shots, but like DC's getting into the swing of like seasonal one-shots, and they do the Pride ones, they do the Halloween ones. It's any type of one shot where it's just weird stories, like little, just off the beaten path stories.
Yeah.
And they generally involve characters who aren't always, they always involve Harley Quinn.
Always.
Always. But I like these types of stories. Sure. I think DC's got the formula right on that. Now, the one thing, I don't know who Amethyst is.
You don't know who Amethyst is?
No.
Amethyst is...
I'm sure I'm going to feel stupid when I look it up.
She's a character from the 80s.
I'm going to feel real stupid when I look it up.
I think it's Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld or something like that. She was part of Young Justice, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. All right, I do. I feel stupid. So I do.
Cool. But not to be outdone by our very exciting number one, Batman Faux-simile edition.
Faux-simile.
Faux? Faux?
So this one is really exciting. So it's a previously unpublished ending in which Jason Todd survives his brutal encounter with the Joker. 35 years ago, a death in the family was one of the darkest hours in Batman's crime-fighting career, made even more harrowing by letting fans decide Jason's fate. Fans dialed into a 900 number to vote if Jason Todd should live or die. From a total of 10,614 votes, fans decided that Jason should succumb to his injuries by a narrow 72 vote margin of 5,343 votes to 5,271. This Faux-simile edition features original story and art from the Death in the Family storytelling team, writer Jim Starlin, artist Jim Aparo, colorist Adrian Roy, inker Mike DiCarlo, and letterer John Constanza. This is cool.
What if? But a really big, very specific what if. And I think the story behind it is so cool. How it like went to a fan vote and it was so close. And
it's also wild because like they definitely had this written.
Yeah, you would think.
You know, back then, 35 years ago, they weren't just like, you know, oh, we got a week to write this. Like, they had 2 stories written.
Yeah.
Whether Jason Todd dies or lives.
Yeah.
And now we get to see the other side of it. Now, granted, I mean, it would change the future of Batman if he lived.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know? Like, Batman, to this day, they still talk about how messed up he was by Jason dying. Yeah. Now, granted, Jason comes back as Red Hood. So what?
True.
He doesn't come back as Red Hood.
No, doesn't come back as Red Hood.
Batman doesn't have that trauma.
Do we have Tim then? Do we have Damian?
I mean, you'd probably still get Damian, you know.
I mean, Talia would probably still
just because Robin's still there doesn't mean Batman and Talia aren't.
No, but Tim tracks him down, and that's when he takes him on because he doesn't have a Robin.
Yeah, because he sees him being so dark and
right, but he wouldn't. Maybe he doesn't get there.
Yeah, I mean, it would have changed the entire landscape of Batman. You know, probably cut our Robins in half.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so cool that they're doing this. I wonder what made them choose now.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, because obviously this is just a one-off. They're just
right.
You know, they're gonna throw this out there just for us to read. But like, what exactly caused them to do it this way?
Right.
You know, maybe we're getting a story. Some Red Hood story is going to play into it at some point or something like that. Or maybe it's just a one-off, but
what if they come out with a 429 and just start a new whole DC universe?
Just start a whole new continuity.
If Jason lived universe.
You know, there would be times where I'd be like, nah, they wouldn't do that. But
it's like the ultimate universe, but the Jason lived universe.
Right. I wonder how deep they would be able to. I mean, it's interesting to think
because you can really like a butterfly effect. Yeah, like
it
going that far back can change a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, because Batman now is at issues 900, so that's 500 issues basically where he's interacted with other people, and the death of Jason Todd has meant something.
Yeah.
So you know, like I said, there was a time where I'd be like, they wouldn't do that. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think this is just going to be a one-off, but it is a super.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm excited to see it, and I mean, Jim Starlin. I love his writing.
Absolutely.
So it's cool to think of that they just had this vaulted somewhere. Yeah. You know, and they were like, Let's do it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wish that I've always wished that they would do something like that again. Like, they always do votes of some sort.
Yeah.
Like, even down to like Marvel recently was letting people vote on the new X-Men team and stuff like that. Um, but none of it has the consequences of this,
No.
This was straight up, does Robin live or die?
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
and
Yes.
think about the scale of it. Like, only 10,614 people voted. Like,
Imagine putting that on a
nowadays,
like Twitter or something. Now you're
yeah, nowadays you'd have 7 million people
voting.
voting.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
So,
think the comic book industry is still that big? The comic readership audience, engaged audience. You think?
yeah, because even if you involve like digital readers,
Oh, true.
things like that,
Yeah, that's true.
like,
That's true.
yeah, it would be a huge thing still. Um, but yeah, I mean, it had such huge consequences.
Oh, absolutely.
It would be cool to see something that big nowadays.
Yeah.
Except I don't want to vote if anyone dies.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, I think it'd be cool if they did something similar to what like X-Men did in like voting for who's on the Justice League.
Yeah, something like that. The X-Men votes, I mean, it was kind of, it didn't, I don't think it mattered that much. Like, it kind of made me feel like the Electoral College. Like, it didn't really matter if I
That's
voted or,
fair. That's fair.
it was
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I voted, but like my vote, I like it just didn't seem to matter. I feel like they still had the idea of who was going to be in it.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas I feel like back when this happened, it was, with such small numbers, it is more
It is a
impactful.
surprisingly small number.
Yeah, I mean, you had to call.
True.
Like, imagine going to your mom, being like, "Mom,
I need
I
to
have to call this number," and she's like, "Why?"
I
Like, you gotta
need
pay for
Jason
that.
Todd to die.
I need Jason Todd to die. If Robin doesn't die, Mom, I'm gonna
Gonna
kill
freak
myself.
out. I'm
Like,
gonna freak out.
I'm gonna lose it.
Jason needs to live. No. I don't know.
I wonder how mad people were
I
when they
heard it.
read
It was
that book.
pretty controversial. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at how close the vote was, too. Like, I'm sure they didn't know back then that they were that close to him living. Like,
No.
72 votes between live or die.
Yeah, that's really close.
Like, I bet you would be pissed. Like, you voted for him to live, and then he gets murdered,
Yep.
and you're
And
like,
he was.
I'm done with Batman. But no, this one's fun. I like that DC's doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, anything else before this week's comics or last week's comics and next week's comics or this week's comics?
No, I think this is it.
Cool. Well, until then, we'll catch you guys later.
See ya.